So 22nd of July 2025, we're looking at the afternoon session for today. It's on a Tuesday. So I'm looking at a 15-minute chart for NASDAQ. I'm only trading CFDs. So it's already Tuesday. I'm not really very much interested in whatever price is going to do this afternoon session. I'll just be here trying to tape read, trying to see whether we can get to these relative equal highs here. 23,207. We are so we are at 23,102 right now. 101. That's around 100 big figure. I'm looking at this buy side resting above 23,210. Maybe we can get into this buy side going into tomorrow's Asian session or something like that. But where we're currently trading inside this range here, I'm not really anticipating much movement out of this range unless we do anything extraordinary going to these market on closed orders macro for this Tuesday. I'm still neutral. Then we'll go to the lower time frame and try to see whether we formed relative equal highs or relative equal lows so that we can run that out. From the morning session, I was looking at these relative equal lows here. I left this sell side, and then we opened up today and we had this run lower into that sell side liquidity pool that was resting below 23,170. So we ran into that sell side, and then at the same time we ran yesterday's low. So immediately my eye goes into an hourly chart, and normally I ask myself, what's the weekly bias? What's the weekly bias before we start even trading for the week? What was your weekly bias? That's what you want to be subscribing to every single day. So when I ask myself what's my weekly bias, the question follows is, what was your monthly bias? And my monthly bias was bullish for this July. So for the most part of this July, or for the most part of every session, I'm supposed to be looking for higher prices. So we look at higher prices when we're below the opening price. This today's midnight New York opening price. This is Monday's midnight New York opening price. So we are below both opening prices. My bias is bullish, so I'm supposed to be looking for higher prices from a very deep discount inside this range. And we've seen a discount is inside this inversion fair value gap. We've got the support here, and we're running higher. So I've already mentioned I'm not really interested in this kind of price action here. We're trading at 23,100. Already we've met daily low and struck the daily low, struck the weekly low at 22,971. This is so far the deep discount that we came off of, and we went higher. So I've already mentioned the relative equal highs here. This high here that was just been formed together with this high, these are relatively equal. So I'll kind of anticipate price to start drawing higher into these relative equal highs here. So 5-minute chart, you can see the relative equal highs here. This my session bias for this afternoon session. Of course, I have what I normally look for in the afternoon session. I'm normally looking at the lunch hour range. And best case scenario, if I'm looking for higher prices, I normally love to see price taking out the lunch hour lows and then rallying higher into those lunch hour highs. I like the fact that we left these relative equal highs here. This is one of the first clues that we're gonna trade into these highs here. So I'm looking for a deep discount rate here to be kind of like a buyer. So let's mark out the lunch hour period. That's where the lunch hour period ends, and this is where it starts. So this is the lunch hour range. So this is the low and this is the highs. Let's go further into 1 minute. So we will also be comparing Nasdaq together with S&P. I'll talk about whatever that happened the morning session in details. Let me mark out the fast presented for World Cup, and you can see it right here. I like this one. I'm not really going to highlight this one. I'll highlight this one here. So let's extend this out to there, and then draw out the midpoint of that inefficiency. So this is supposed to be that trend, and then put it at that midpoint and then extend it. So we've not gone above the lunch of highs. This is the high that I'm looking at. This is the buy side liquidity pool that I'm looking at the moment. So I'm anticipating price to rally into this high here. Right here. Relative equal highs, I'm expecting price to rally into this high. Then we'll want to see if we are really bearish, we will expect price to start rallying into these lows. But I don't really think it has an interest for these lows here. I think we have an interest for price to go into these inefficiency here and maybe try to reach into 23,200. Otherwise, we can just beat around this range here, this 100, 150 level, this range, and then go into the close just like that. So let's review the morning session, whatever we did here. I was looking at price while we were trading up here, and I was looking at these relative equal highs here. And it's crazy that we did not go above those relative equal highs here. Instead, we opened up at 4:30. That's at 9:30 in the New York time. We opened up exactly on that high right there, and then we had price deliver this down close candle exactly on the opening price, and then we have today's fast presented for Valley Cup right here. So we beat inside this inefficiency here, and then it offered the lower prices that I was anticipating. I was anticipating price to trade through this inefficiency here and maybe reach into this opening price, the Monday's midnight New York opening price, and then go into yesterday's low. And that's exactly what we did in today's morning session. So we rallied lower. You can see the inefficiency here. This is an institutional underflow trade. We are weak, and you can see the delivery into that sell side and into this low, and most importantly into Monday's low. And Monday's low is right here. That is 23,061. Beautiful price delivery, 23,061 around here. This is Monday's low right there. It runs for that sell side. So going into the silver bullet for today was right here. You can see if anybody has been subscribing to higher prices, this is the silver bullet right here. Immediately this 5 o'clock kicks in. You're supposed to be buying these inversion for World Cup and try to reach into these highs, especially these inefficiencies here. I don't like the way my phone is vibrating and I'm using it for light. So you can see the inversion for World Cup here. Look at the support right here at this is 526, 527, 528, 529. You can see the bullish stance here. We ran into these highs here, and unfortunately running into this inefficiency right here, right there, beautiful. And then we go into a consolidation, going into the lunch hour. Lunch hour, we try to fall back into this inversion fair gap, and you can see the support right here. Boom. And then we rally high into these relative equal highs here, and eventually into the opening price, and we are trading right here. So after running into these relative equal highs here from the morning session during the lunch hour time, you can see the macro right here, inefficiency. You can see the higher prices. Right now we're in the afternoon session. I've talked about price trying to reach into this buy side, and you can see we've reached into that buy side. So that's this is interesting to me. So we've taken out this buy side liquidity pool above 23,111.4. So we'll want to see if price wants to get into this efficiency here and start trading to these quarter levels on this midpoint of yesterday's 15-minute. It was a buy side imbalances and efficiency. We'll want to see if price wants to get into that efficiency or it wants to find weakness. I'm not really 100% sure whether we'll trade into these highs today. Maybe we can trade these highs here going into the Asian session or going into tomorrow London. I mean, we can do it today, but it's a slow week. We're expecting a slow week. Remember, tomorrow we don't have any news. We only have existing home sales, and then on Thursday we have flash manufacturing PMI numbers for Euro, Pound, Canadian dollar, the dollar index, plus unemployment claims, and then Friday we have durable goods. So the high impact news for this week is only in tomorrow's trading. So these other days, like today, we're gonna have slow price action, and that's kind of like what I'm anticipating here. So it's not really an interesting time to be trading Nasdaq, even if I'm just tape reading this afternoon session. It's not really an interesting time to be a buyer or to be participating in price right now. So obviously we're looking at this afternoon session. This is the first present if you go for the afternoon session. You can see the range here after the lunch hour time has lapsed. You can see the opening range for the afternoon session goes up to 1. This is a 30-minute range. This swing low here plus this swing high here. This is the range. This is the range. So we've ran into that sell side with this inversion for value gap here. This is an inversion for value gap. Extend this out to 1 hour in front. So this is an inversion for value gap. You can see we went up and above it, came back into this inversion for value gap. We found support. We're going higher. Order block. I've seen this before. Actually, that it's a propulsion block because we have the original order block here. Propulsion block. We go higher through this sell side imbalance buy side inefficiency. You can see how it offers buy side delivery through that inefficiency. We go above that inefficiency, and then we run into that buy side lunch hour high right there. So if you look at this 15-minute chart, my eye goes into this sell side imbalance buy side efficiency here. If we go through that CB, then we're definitely going to reach into these highs here. Actually, they're not relatively equal, they're equal highs. So if we go through these sell side imbalance buy side efficiency, then we're obviously going to reach into these equal highs right here above 23,207 level. So that's what we are going to read. We're going to read this afternoon. The time is 9:58. We're remaining with 2 minutes, and then we'll start the last hour of trading. So we're still inside the second macro. The first macro came between 8:50 and 9:10. The second macro comes between 8:50 and 9:10. No, 9:50 and 10:10. And then we have the last hour of trading macro runs from 10:15 to 10:45. And then we have the market or close orders macro that runs from 10:50 to 11. It's a 10-minute macro. So we're currently trading at 23,112. Let's look at US 500. Look at US 500. US 500 is interesting, very, very interesting. So we left these high here after trading into these inefficiency here in the morning session. Look at this inefficiency here. Let's extend this out in time. Together with this inefficiency from yesterday. This candlestick is 430. Okay. So you can see how we ran this inefficiency, ran this high out. This chart is totally different from Nasdaq. So S&P, we ran this high out and then we ran this sell side here. You can see it right here. And then we ran into this inefficiency. I talked about this here in the morning session before I went to train. I talked about we're gonna see price trading into this sell side and yesterday's low, that is Monday's low. So we ran into that exactly on the opening price right there. And then we've been trading higher. We've gone through these sell side imbalance based on efficiency, gone through it. You can see here the low risk buy. We're running higher. Look at this retracement back into this inefficiency here still. And then right now we've ran through this high here and we're running currently into this buy side here. So this is very interesting. So for S&P, I want to see this the next drawn liquidity higher. We were still gonna go higher during this afternoon session. This 22nd. So this is the next inefficiency that I want to see price try to reach into. If you look at 15-minute chart for S&P plus a 15-minute chart for Nasdaq side by side, they're totally different. They're totally different things. Totally different. And you can see S&P we've already run into this Asian high, but Nasdaq we still have a long way to go into this buy side here. So we're gonna just be tape reading, and then we'll see what we have going forward. So lunch hour time for S&P runs between this is 8:30. So between 9 and 8:30. Right there. This is the low, obviously. This is the high, the lunch hour highs. So we've ran the lunch hour highs together with this buy side. This is interesting. This is interesting. So if you look at a 15-minute chart for US 500, you can see how we've managed to get through this range here. Lastly, trading into this buy side, and most importantly into this buy side. So I'm going to put US 500 side by side together with Nasdaq, so you can see how we've ran into that buy side here. And we'll see if we want to find weakness or it wants to still proceed and go higher. There's an email that I'm patiently waiting for a company that offers free challenges. That's very interesting. Trading is going to be free someday. Trading is going to be free. Why? We've seen, I've seen a company that is offering free trading challenges, and it's a one step. That's so wild. That's so wild. The trading challenges that I've purchased before, it's so crazy, so crazy. They move from being expensive to way cheap, and now they are free. And now they are free. Wow, this game is so tough, is it? Isn't it? The game is so tough. So we started moving lower, 23,098. So we've taken out the buy side liquidity pool above the lunch hour highs. That's the most important thing that price has done right now. So buy side liquidity pool, lunch hour highs, it's out. So let's wait and see whether we'll go back into this inefficiency and try to find weakness below these midpoint and try to reach into these inversion fair value gap, or we'll try to find support here and try to reach into this buy side that has built up here one more time. I'm expecting US 500 to be a lot more weaker because we are trading at a very deep premium. We're trading at a daily high for US 500. If you look at this 15-minute chart, this was the daily high, and we're trading around the daily high. So these are deep premium. I'm looking at US 500 at a deep premium. So for if price wants to trade lower, I'll expect US 500 to be a leader in weakness because we've already gone above the current daily high. We formed a new daily high. So if smart money has sold into this buy side liquidity pool resting here, then I'll really anticipate price to start moving lower. But if they haven't still sold into these here, then we'll have to move higher together with the weekly buyers, with the monthly buyers, and all those kind of trade ideas. So my eye is going right now into this inefficiency here in US 500. Let's just take this inefficiency here. It's supposed to be down. Let's say green. Let's extend this out right there. So this is the inefficiency that I'm looking at. It's really difficult to define a session bias in this kind of environment. It's really difficult. If I don't know about it, I'm going to say I don't know about it. If I know about it, I'm going to say I know about it. Like Friday. Friday, I knew that we were gonna go lower. I knew that the bias was bearish, and I explained all of those. I explained why I was bearish. I explained why we will be bearish in regards to the weekly range and how prices really generally um, trades around specific times. I explained all that. I explained all that. So it's Tuesday. It's really difficult to trade Tuesdays and Wednesday if not really following the weekly stroke monthly bias. It's really difficult to be going short and your bias is bullish, especially that is when it's bullish for the month, for the week. It's really difficult to be going short on Tuesdays and Wednesdays because that's when I expect price to form the body of that weekly range. I expect it to be formed on Tuesday or on Wednesday. So when I see price rallying lower in the morning session like this here now. I'm anticipating price to recover going into the afternoon session, going higher. Because after all, we must respect the monthly bias. We must respect the higher time frame bias. It is what it is. It's going to end up higher somehow, but after it has priced in a discount. So the time is 10 or 9. We're remaining with 1 minute to finish this second macro of this afternoon session. We are in the last hour of trading. Last hour of trading macro will start from 10:15, and then we'll see whether we have any interest for price to want to trade into certain levels. So I've explained already why I am not really having any session bias other than generally being bullish, because the weekly is bullish, the monthly is bullish. I'm not really bearish. It's really difficult to be going short at this point here in price action. It's difficult to be going short. Even though if you look at the 1 hour chart, we are at a deep premium where all the long holders are supposed to be taking off some of their position, if not all, and people coming in with new short position because we are trading at a premium. That's how the market behaves. That's how it operates. The most difficult thing that I found myself trying to pursue is really perfection on every session. And you don't need every session. You don't really need every session. Say you take that $5,000 account and you're looking for 30 points. 30 points, you risk. Let's say you risk 15 points. 15 points you can risk. If you risk $5 per point times 15, that is that's $75. 15 times 5, that's 75, right? I'm sure for $5,000 account you have a drawdown like a 200 drawdown or 250 daily drawdown or something like that. But the overall drawdown is around $400. Yes, and you have to make the 400. It's kind of like at 8%, and then maybe you'll pass that challenge. So I'm still waiting for an email. I'm still waiting for a certain email. There's a platform that Joshua introduced me, and they're offering free evaluation accounts. So I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that, and then we'll see what we have going forward. So if you look at a 15-minute chart, it's not really interesting. The time is 10:12. We're still beating inside this, sell side imbalance, bias and efficiency. We've gone through it. We've gone to the upper portion of this CB. My interest was this CB here, but as you can see here, we're kind of like trading lower after taking out the lunch hour highs right here. So I'm looking at these inefficiency here. This is together with the first present Fibonacci for this afternoon session, but I'm interested in this huge gap, this huge CB here. This CB is 10 points. That's a while. This is 10 points. This whole range is 10 points. That's a while. But I'm interested in that, the whole of this range here. So we're trading lower, 23,094 now. Let's see, we will want to get into 23,080s. Get into 23,080s and maybe visit 23,070s. Tape reading is not really hard. It's not. Once you know what you're looking for, every single session, every single time, every single day, once you know what you're looking for, and it's really, it's very simple. All you're looking for is a relative equal highs, relative equal lows, and then you're looking at time, and you're looking at how price delivers around specific times of day, and you're looking at how price engages the buy side or sell side liquidity pool that you come across in price. So I try to restrict most of my orders from around inside the macros only, unless it's kind of like a silver bullet that runs. We have a silver bullet in London and silver bullet in the New York session, a silver bullet in the afternoon session. We have all that, but all you need is a session. A session. So I prefer this afternoon session because I'm always free. The morning session is not really it's not like I cannot make it, but um, in days like today, it's really difficult to predict what the morning session is gonna do. It's really difficult. So I love to maybe leave that aside, maybe go do something else. So we've finished this 15-minute candlestick. If you look at it, it's an outside candlestick. This is very foretelling. An outside candlestick means that we are going to have volatility coming in the next candlestick or two, or you're just going to go in the direction of that candlestick. That made sense. So look at Nasdaq 1 minute chart. We're trading on this CB here. Look at the midpoint of this CB. We've touched that midpoint. Look at that reaction there. Let's look at US 500. And I talked about anticipating weakness, a lot more weakness here in US 500 because they're trading at a premium. So let's wait and see if that pans out. So we've started the last half trading macro. Start from my time. It starts from 10:15 to 11 p.m. That is 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the new time. So what I'm underlining here is the macros. So there we go. Mm-hmm. 23,097. We're still at 23,100. US 500, 6,315. We're trading at the midpoint of these 15-minute buy-side balance system efficiency from yesterday. When price trades through these 15-minute efficiencies, tells me one thing. Most of the time it tells me that we're gonna go through that level or that price point. We're gonna go through it. So we've gone through this 15-minute inefficiency for US 500. So my eye goes into this upper part. It's also the upper portion of this price action. So we have this one, two highs, and on these, about just above these highs, we have a 15-minute CB. So this CB is more of interesting to me. It's crazy that I feel sleepy. Sometimes you can just watch these charts, especially when you don't really have any expectation. It can be really boring. It can be boring. But this is what really makes you or breaks you. Once you know you don't have a setup, then you don't do anything really. I mean, the price is not really doing anything specific here since I came and started to talk about it. It has not done anything specific that would really be appealing to my eye. It hasn't. So a lot more waiting is needed here in this game. Patience, right? Patience is everywhere, bro. Patience is everywhere. You wanna go play forward in hockey, they want patience. It's wild. Time is 10:21. 23,096 now. 6,315 for US 500. 316 now. And 3,100. Well, let's look at a 15-minute chart once more. So Nasdaq 15-minute chart, there's nothing really here. Talk about that. US 500, we have this high here, even though we've rallied into that high. And then we have another high here. So 15-minute chart, still doing nothing. It's trading higher, trading at 6,317 now. The time is 10:23. We're trading at 23,102. That's interesting. I feel like sleeping. So we are trading higher, 23,102, 6,317. I think US 500 has moved a little bit of 2 points higher. 317 now, 6,317 for US 500. NAS 100, 23,100, 100 big figure. Let's see whether we'll get into 150 or 050. And for US 500, we'll see whether we'll get into 310 or 400, 410. That's the dream. That's the dream. So it's really difficult to be trading at this kind of situations. Really, really difficult. And for new aspiring traders, I don't really think they know all about this. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's nothing here really. Oh, this is the kind of distraction that I don't really need. Oh my God. So we're back into these Society balance bias and efficiency that was formed close to the first presented Fevaliga for this afternoon session. So for US 500, we're not close to that similar inefficiency here. We're not close, so we are on the upper portion of this 15 minute efficiency. So where can we reach into for US 500? I want to see a swing projection. This low, this high. We've already reached into 6,318. Maybe we'll do 6,394. It's the midpoint of that 15 minute Society balance bias and efficiency that was formed yesterday's afternoon session. I think it's the midpoint of, it's close to the midpoint of, not even, if not the midpoint, it's so close to that midpoint. So US 500, that's why we're reaching into 6,318.5 and then 6,324. That's why we might reach into if we do the swing projection. NAS 100, if we do the swing projection for NAS 100 from this low to this high, if we'll be trading higher, then we want to expect it to go into 23,148. 148, that's around 150 level. And that's really it. Nothing really much to be doing here. From 3,000 still 100. I don't really think there's going to be anything specific. Today is really resembling, when was that? I think it was on Friday last week. After we had lower prices, then prices not really move any further going into the close on Friday. We open up Monday. Monday becomes a very slow opening day. Then we go into the afternoon session. Then there is a fast price action. It's really wild. It's really wild. It's really crazy. So 10:28. We're so close to 10:30. We're still looking at NAS 100 sitting at 23,001. US 500 trading at 6,314. 314, 315 shall be good. Jesus. I think this should be enough for me. I'm getting sleepy. So unfortunate, but I'm getting sleepy. I don't really have to to be here in front of the chance if I don't really see anything that is important to me. So far, nothing is important to me unless I look at the market on close orders macro, and then we'll see what we'll have then. So I have like 20 minutes into that market on close orders macro. I don't really think I'll be here talking for the next 20 minutes. So I'll wait for that, and then we'll see. I don't really think it's going to do anything that is significant. Interesting price action will come after tomorrow, after we've had, not really tomorrow, but after Thursday. Ex- Actually, exactly on Thursday, after we've had flash manufacturing PMI numbers, then we'll have interesting price action after that. But right now, together with tomorrow's session, I think um, the best outcome for trading or the movement would be very nice after we've had the morning session, morning opening price, morning session. So that's when you'll get a lot of movement. Like today in the morning session, there was a lot of movement. So I want to go back to a daily chart, both US 500 and NAS 100, and then talk about that daily chart briefly, and then we'll call that a session. So here we go. We have Nasdaq 100 daily chart. If you notice this daily chart here, we have if we close today with the down close, we'll have made a swing high here. This is a very strategic point in price, because if you look at the price here, we've been trading from these lows here to these highs here. We went above this all-time high here, and currently we're trading at new all-time highs above 23,000. The all-time high right now is 23,282, and that was yesterday's high. So it's very, very interesting what we're gonna have going into the rest of the week, because my weekly bias is still bullish. I mean, for the month I'm bullish, so I'm still anticipating that monthly candlestick to close on the high. So I'm still bullish. We're barely 22nd of July. We still have 1 week, that is next week, and then we'll close the month on 31st on Thursday next week. But so far, we're inside the body of that monthly candlestick and we're trading higher. But this point in price right here, this is very indicative of something. So going into tomorrow, we might have a run into this week here and maybe run this low here. That means that we'll be very, very weak and we'll run into this inefficiency here, this candlestick week here. So I'll be looking at this week and that midpoint of that week. That same level, I was looking at that level when we were trading here. I'll look at that going forward, and then we'll see if we want to go below these typical lows here, or still we want to get into 23,500 or so. So the same idea is here on US 500, but it could be best if we had a swing high here that is very that is easy to spot, that comes with the explanation of a fractal in price. It would be very nice if you had this in US 500 here, but we'll see what we have tomorrow. Tomorrow there's no news. There's only existing home sales at 5, so chances are that we're gonna have a very nice opening price and a very nice session with the opening price. Those are the chances. Chances are like that. But I'll not be in front of price tomorrow. I'm also training, and then we'll see what we have. So if you look at this 1 minute chart, this is what I've been staring. We've gone above this inefficiency here. Price does not really want to go on the lower portion of that inefficiency. I think we'll still run this high out and then maybe we'll trade into this inefficiency here. But I'm not really suggesting anything here as to whether I want to be a buyer or seller. I would not touch it if I were to have that opportunity to sell or buy in this marketplace. I've been talking for 50 minutes now. I think that's really enough. This afternoon session, I don't really see anything interesting. So I'm going to cut this short and then end this here. So I don't really have anything else to say. I've talked about the daily chart. I don't really want to talk about USDX. I'll talk about that tomorrow in the morning. So I think that's really it. I want to sit around and wait for the market on close orders macro, and then we'll see where they will push it. They will push Nasdaq and US 500 too. But I'm not doing anything. I'm not trading it or doing anything or participating with this stubborn price action here. So that's really it. Until next time, adios.